All right, all right, all right. We are live on Monday night after episode number 3 of WWE's Raw in the Netflix era. And as I'm looking at my notes, I'm realizing my handwriting is horrible.
At least you do. I don't do notes.
If I didn't do notes, then I would just totally be lost when we came on here. So I kind of like got to go with the whole thing.
So I will say this, man. That I hate the format of it ends when it ends.
How long did it go? It was
Two and a
less
half
than
hours.
3 hours.
Two
Yeah.
and a half. Well, 2 hours, 35 minutes.
Okay. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that, but make that the time.
No. Let it go when it goes. Just like any true show. It goes when it goes.
Yeah. Some of us are lead a very structured life, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Gianni's back in the house. We are live. And my boy Jeremy Crenity. Hey, hey, hey. Let's see. Hello, Santa. I'll try not to bust your chops tonight. We'll see how long that lasts.
Oh, is that what you call busting my chops? You were the AEW of busting chops then.
Oh. How long did it go tonight? So 2 hours and 35 minutes, Santa says.
Yeah. Yeah, it was exactly 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Wow. So overall, you want to do an overall like rating now or at the end of the recap?
I'd do it at the end.
Okay. That's something in my eye. Sorry about that. All right. So the show started off with the big introduction, and in the announcer chair tonight, Wade Barrett filling in for Pat McAfee, who's doing the football game.
Yeah.
And I'm just no offense to Wade Barrett, but I'm not a fan of his announcing at all.
I like Barrett, but he needs that he needs that balance. And
he seemed like he drug Michael Cole down. That's the way I felt.
I don't know if it's he drug Michael Cole down or that McAfee brings so much energy to it. McAfee's on a level all his own, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that like he leaves when they do college football because he cracks me up, man.
Yeah, he is good. And you're right. He's got so much energy. I mean, he just helps bring it to life, and it didn't feel as energetic tonight.
I thought it was all right. Like I said, I like Barrett. Barrett's a great heel commentator, but I don't think Cole is that. Cole is great, but he's not great for that heel commentator to play off of.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how about do you think if Corey Graves did not open his mouth, do you think he should have sat in tonight?
I don't know what's up with that. Our friend, I think I agree with our friend the cooker.
Okay.
That it's a work.
See, I don't think it is.
I think it is just because too much is coming out, and just the way it. Like I said, Graves is not that good to be like. You know, he's not on that level to where he can be opening his mouth like that.
Right.
And I don't think he's that stupid.
You never know. I mean,
and usually when there's an inside turmoil, they wouldn't let him pop. Like I said, I think it is, but who cares?
Okay. All right. So the opening, the first segment was they were showing Rhea Ripley walking into, under the underground tunnel or arena, whatever you want to call it, and gets jumped by Nia Jax.
Oh, I thought that was a forklift. No.
How many times are we going to see Rhea Ripley jumped backstage?
It's I get it. You jump her because she's like bigger and stronger than most of the women.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. But you would figure she'd start watching her back by now. And I'm sorry, if you can't see Nia Jax coming, you better go to the eye doctor.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally like a forklift coming at you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just that's the thing that just rubbed me wrong with it was just
I
I'm a
always
person. Well, real quick,
Mhm.
I have not watched the shows, much like you. And now that it's on Netflix, I have the ability to watch it.
Mhm.
And I've just seen in like clips and highlights, etc. It's like once a month, Rhea Ripley's getting jumped backstage.
Yeah, I mean, the whole backstage jumping thing always bothers me because they're walking, there's a camera, they get jumped,
Mm-hmm.
and 5 seconds later there's a ton of people to break it up.
Yeah,
So you're telling me that all them people, and again, I know it's wrestling, I'm supposed to suspend belief, but I think when you make the stuff more believable, it's more enjoyable.
I agree. I totally agree. And back in the day when they did something like that, like the the parking lot incident when the horseman jumped Dusty, stuff like that they would do, maybe once a year,
Yeah, yeah.
not once every episode.
When they ran over Jerry Lawler with the car.
How about that? How about that?
They had the cops going to rest. That's back when wrestling was wrestling.
So that led into the opening in-ring segment. Yeet.
I don't
Jay,
eat.
you don't yeet? Come on, Santa,
No,
yeet for us.
no.
It's a good exercise.
I
And
eat
if
cookie. I eat
you eat
cookies.
cookies, if you notice, by time Jay gets to the ring, he is blown up from all that yeeting.
Michael Cole was funny as hell with that though tonight.
Oh, he was all over the place.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, I mean he's over. He's over. I think the last couple singles runs he had, he just wasn't quite getting his over.
Right.
I think he's got that niche now. So I'd like to see where they got it. I don't know if he can be the man, but I think he can be one of the men.
I honestly, I've been saying for the last 2 months now. Um, I think Jey Uso's going to win the belt. But like I was saying tonight to Coco, I think he's going to win the belt. He might even win it this Saturday night on Saturday night's main event, and then lose it back at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. He's going to lose it quick. He's not a long-term champion. He is, like Gunther said tonight, a flash in the pan.
I don't see him as a WrestleMania main event by himself.
No, I agree.
So no, I don't think he'll win it this weekend because there's more money in either the Royal Rumble winner or the Elimination Chamber
Okay.
winner going against Gunther. But he was over, and Gunther always cuts a nice promo. He looks like a champion. He always
Agreed.
comes out with that, regal believability. The only thing I don't like is they give you too much before these guys fight.
Well, let me ask you this. As you're saying about Gunther, and was saying to myself exactly what you said, and I felt the exact same way. I felt tonight, for again, me not watching on a regular basis, just mainly the PLEs for the last year,
Mhm.
I felt tonight I saw Jay Uso exposed in the ring on the microphone?
Um, I wouldn't say exposed, but the holes in his game.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's okay, but he's not one of the elite on the microphone. And he's getting his footing because you got to remember, for the last couple of years, he's always had a lot around him,
Yeah.
so he hasn't been the sole focus. So I can forgive that. I wouldn't say he was exposed as much as he's still trying to get his footing for that. I mean, cutting promos is not the easiest thing in the world.
No, you got to learn your groove.
You do, and for me, my groove was always when I was being myself. It was a lot easier, and that's where a lot of these guys need to, throw a little themselves in it.
Agreed. Next up, we had a Bailey promo. Again, Miss Nia Jax came in, did not interfere, but came in and they were setting up for their match for this evening. Now, I have been a huge, huge, huge Bailey supporter and fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel number one, since she dropped the belt a few months back, she has just been flat. And also, too, I'm seeing her now more on the microphone. And again, like, don't put her on a microphone because it's I don't she's not good at cutting promos.
It's she. Trying to think because I like Bailey,
I do too.
and I'm don't want to. It's almost like
She busts her ass big time in that ring every time. Again,
she
tonight with Nia.
she found a little something that worked for her on the microphone with the idiot line,
Okay,
but now it's her go-to thing.
gotcha.
Like literally, I don't know if you saw it a couple weeks ago where she called Michael Cole a big idiot,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the crowd was just like, "Oh, okay." It's like, you may want to. And again, I don't understand why you have a performance center, you have NXT, you have now TNA. Promos should be like worked on. They should be, they got some of the best promo people in the business working for them.
Mm-hmm.
Work with these people, tell them how to do their presence, exude themselves, get their point across. I like Nia Jax is another one that shouldn't be. A microphone should be nowhere near her.
Yeah, I agree. Gianni, I agree with you too because when I saw her during her heel run with Damage Control, she was much better on the mic.
She was. She was a good face back in NXT and when she first started. I just think now she's trying to combine the two personalities of when she was a face and when she was a heel, and it's not clicking.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, next up we had another promo. Oh my
What?
God.
Remember what I texted you? 25 minutes in, and we haven't seen a match yet.
Yeah. So we had New Day with JBL, and what? Let me see. I see. I can't even read my freaking writing. Oh, okay. So this was as they were heading out to go to the ring for that match. JBL was guest commentator during that match. I feel New Day is heels, no good. JBL, eh. JBL doing commentating, eh. The Rey Mysterio Kingston match was okay. Um, I,
Um, so
the
so I'm going to disagree with you.
cooker's
Uh,
in the house. FJBL, he's a dick.
well, everybody knows that. Um, I think New Day as a heel is working. They're getting that heel heat.
See, I feel like I don't know. It's not working for me because I can't take them seriously.
Yeah, but if you listen to the crowd, they can't stand them, and they're getting over his heels. Um, Now for the match, I want to know what happened to Kofi's gear first off.
Why is everybody wearing Nikes? Does Nike have an endorsement deal with half the
I
locker
don't know.
rooms?
You know my opinion on that.
I mean, it's you got people making millions of freaking dollars here, and they're wearing Nike sneakers.
Yeah. Um, I will say this about that match. Man, there were a lot of botches in it. And I was kind of surprised because these are two solid workers. And I just was more, I was expecting a lot more out of this. I don't know, like, because I get, these two have rarely had an opportunity, if any, to ever work together like that.
Right.
Um, it just seems they couldn't get on the same page.
Yeah, there was at least a handful of botches.
Yeah, yeah. And again, the match just didn't click as much as I was hoping it would. Because this was one I was actually looking forward to. And it was okay, but it just seemed like them two couldn't get a chemistry if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, they couldn't get a nice uh, flow to the match. Let me ask you this about New Day, because they were, their big main peak and explosion was when I was like not watching wrestling for many years. So when they were the three of them with
Hmm.
Big E, how did it work? Was it Big E singles? Was it a tag team? Like how did it work?
All different ways.
Like Freebird
Um,
rules?
yeah, yeah, almost like Freebird rules. I'll be honest, Xavier was injured a whole hell of a lot.
Okay.
And but it always seemed like one of them was always injured.
Mm,
So it would always be a tag team 90% of the time.
gotcha.
Um, and Xavier seemed like he was the one that was getting injured a lot at first. And
Okay.
then he would get healthy, then Kofi get injured, and he would get healthy, then Big E would get injured.
Gotcha.
So it was mostly a tag team. And then if all three of them were in, like Big E would usually do the singles run.
Cooker says New Day's been there long enough. Out with the old and in with the new. If you want the business to ever move forward.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with Bob on this. I do think that a lot of times, a lot of these guys, it's just way too long.
Yeah.
Move them along, let them go someplace else for a little bit. They can come back, reinvent themselves. Especially if they're younger guys. But yeah, I mean, how long's Kofi been there now?
I mean, I guess they've been there. It's over 10 years, right?
I know Kofi has been. I remember when he was Jamaican.
uh, After they broke the record for longest reigning tag team champions, they should have turned them then, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they just got to the point with them where they didn't know what to do with them, so now they're trying something new. But again, I don't know if it's just they're not used to being heels. I mean, they're getting the heel heat, but I just don't know what you're going to do with them.
On the flip side with Rey Mysterio, um, when he came out wearing the LWO shirt, I had no idea there's a new version of the LWO.
Yeah, they restarted that when he broke up with his kid.
Okay, well, who are these two other kids?
Um, Generico 1 and I they are so generic. I forgot their names.
I was, hey, yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, who are they?
It, oh, damn it! Now I can't remember.
That speaks volume. Oh, let me see.
Johnny, help me out here.
You mean Dragon Lee?
No. Dragon Lee wasn't out there. It was the other two. That's literally who should it be called? LWO, the other two.
I mean, honestly, that was the vibe I got. Was the other two?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's Zelina Vega, Dragon Lee, the other two, and Ray.
The other two.
Um,
All right. Well, let's move on because yeah, it was. Eh.
like I said, I expected a little better of it. It wasn't the worst match, but to me, like I said, it just didn't seem like they could get on the same page.
I agree. Totally agree. Next up, we had another promo. We had the American Made promo. Um, Speaking of the other two, so I felt Chad Gable,
Mm-hmm.
super solid star. Definitely, you understand why he's the leader of the group.
So
But
underrated.
I agree. He impressed the hell out of me last week in his match.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, Jeremy says Cruz del Toro and Jacqueline Wild.
That's right. The other
The,
two.
the other two, yeah. Um, the girl in American Made is who?
Ivy Nile. Very good prospect.
Okay. She seemed, she was good on the mic. And then you had the other two who I said to myself, no.
So the Creed brothers, I like them.
Okay.
I think they would have benefited from staying at NXT a little longer than they did.
Okay.
I do like them with Gable and letting Gable be the mouthpiece.
Right.
Because they are solid and they got some good work. I definitely think they have potential.
Okay.
And they got that amateur background just like Gable. But Gable, man, I think if he was just a little taller and a teeny bit thicker, that dude would get the run he deserves.
Well, it seems like they're trying to do something with him now with this whole lucha thing, which we'll be touching on in a little bit.
I think they dropped the ball with him when they didn't give him the belt against Gunther. Because, man, they were some great matches, him versus Gunther.
Trying to read my notes. All right. Next up was the Sami Zayn promo. In ring, out came Kevin Owens.
The charisma vacuum.
What the fuck was that promo? Because Sammy had something going. Kevin came in. It started out okay. And then I was like, what is going... Like, whatever Kevin was talking about made no sense. It just confused the hell out of me.
He thinks that if he goes off on these tangents and that people enjoy, I just don't get the whole Kevin Owens infatuation. Solid worker, but I just when his contract was up, I literally thought it was a mistake for them not to let AEW have him.
Wow. Okay.
Because no, dude, it would have been like when Bret Hart went to WCW. They would have overpaid him, not used him correctly, and he would have been off your books.
Yeah.
he's. I always like to look at it like this: if that person leaves tomorrow, will it make a difference? And he's just one dude. I felt like if he left, it wouldn't matter one way or the other.
I totally get what you're saying, and I could see that. But this, like, and you're right. I have to say you are right, because he's somebody who every time I see him, he fucking gives 110%. Has
Yes.
great matches,
Mm-hmm.
great stuff. Always delivers, in my opinion. Except tonight, I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's just you just were you made everything so confusing for people in the audience in TV land. I don't know what you're talking about, but yet this whole heel run and the thing with him and Cody, I think is great. But I kind of also can see what you're saying and agree. Like, if he left tomorrow and went to AEW, would anybody care?
I like when he comes on.
Yeah,
Because,
I do too.
Yeah, well, I like him because it's piss break time.
Oh,
He does nothing to. I just can't get engaged, man. Nothing against the dude. He's definitely doing something more than I've ever done, so I can't rip on him. I just feel like, again, it's one of them guys, like, he's always in the mix, but I don't think he builds up that excitement that people want to see.
I think he definitely needs to be a heel, which he is. He's better at a heel. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this whole. Okay. Speaking of where they go, he still has the Winged Eagle belt, which I had heard early on he was going to start defending that belt, and they might just make a whole new title out of it. So that's where I thought they were originally going tonight with him and Sammy. But then he just started talking gibberish in circles, and I'm like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said,
what do you think about that, Frank? Jeremy's saying, first time I saw Kevin Owens was in CZW in 2004. Great moves, was impressive, but he never belonged in the big time.
I agree. Like, I'm not going to rip on somebody's build, obviously. Fist bump. There we go. Yeah, I taught my cat the fist bump. But like, the fact that he comes out and looks like a dude that should be setting up the ring doesn't help the mystique.
Every time he comes out, Coco says, "Look, it's Bert."
Oh, damn, poor Bert.
My buddy Bert.
All right, man. Yeah, like I said, I don't get the big. I mean, he must be making money for them because he's still there, so I can't really.
I mean, he is, as a face, he was over. As a heel, he's over. He's doing his job, and he delivers on the matches.
I just don't know what it is about him and Sami Zayn, but especially Zayn. When Zayn's in a group, I think he's 10 times better than when.
Johnny asked a question I was thinking in my head. Let's ask the same question about Sammy. So, who would be the bigger loss if they left, Sammy or Kevin Owens?
Neither.
I think Sammy.
You know why I say they won't be a bigger loss? Because AEW does not know how to use anybody. So here's what'll happen. You go to AEW, you get that push for the first couple months, then you're gone. You're lost in the shuffle.
Well, the whole everything is a shuffle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sammy would be the bigger loss. Um, but Sammy on his own as the serious tough guy, it just doesn't work, man. He was better as Usi.
Yeah. Jay Bradbury, new name to the group. Thanks, man. Thanks for hanging out and joining. Kevin Owens, I love this. Kevin Owens should speak in that Montreal French accent and be Dino Bravo 2.0.
You know what? That would give him, I think, the personality he needs. See, I think the other thing is too, Kevin never leaned into the way he looks. You know, he always wants to present himself as this super tough guy.
Right.
But literally, he looks like a guy that if he walked in a bar, you'd be like, drunk. You know, and that's just me. You know, like I said, I'm not ripping on somebody's build. But at the same point, I think there just could be more there. And I don't know. You know, the whole prize fighter thing just wasn't over.
Not working.
And then he tries this where he's
Gianni says, I disagree. I think he does belong because people said the same thing about Foley.
But Foley had more personality, and Foley never pretended to be a tough guy. Foley would just go out there and do it, and you figured, wow, he's a crazy tough son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like I said, you got Owens that comes out and, you know, oh, he was, when they used to call him the prize fighter. What prize? Pie eating contest?
I did mind him as El Generico, but I hate Sammy because he was overpushed.
Yeah, like I said, Sammy had that good run with the bloodline, but he just doesn't work on his own. Unfortunately, I never got to see him as Generico.
Now, who was Generico? Kevin Owens?
Sammy.
Sami Zayn?
No. Kevin Owens is just generic.
All right. Jay Bradbury, I love this again. Jay should be a booker. Embrace the dad bod and say you're doing it for every father who took their children to the event.
That, again, you know, it's funny. He's feuding with Cody Rhodes, and he keeps like trying to do Dusty's mannerisms.
Yeah.
If he actually went back and watched some Dusty stuff, he would get how to work with that body better.
Mm.
Like he should come out without a shirt on and just trunks.
Foley used to make sound effects too. What happened to that in wrestling? That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever make sound effects?
Yeah.
That wasn't a sound effect. That was. I never did.
All right. Next up was the Sheamus promo. Quick, like not even a 2-minute spot, I don't think. Braun Breaker came in. Just a little quick reminder and push for Saturday night's main event for their IC title match.
Sheamus always solid.
Yeah, he is. But
I'm going to go back to what Bob said. Time for him to move on.
I agree.
He's taken up a spot.
Yeah.
Love the guy. He's done it all. But it's not like the old days where if you had like somebody like a Flair and a Rhodes, that, yeah, they could have a 10-year run. You never seen the mid-carders staying there for that long.
Yeah, but you know what, too? Like, what was it? I guess it was a month or two ago. That 3-way match with him, Braun, and Ludwig was fucking awesome.
Oh no, he puts on a good one, but like
Yeah.
I said, he's not. You just know where everything's going with him, and I think it kind of takes away.
Foley used to sweat like a pig. It was great.
Oh, Jeremy, I will got so it was one of the shows, and he was at the not the not the not the cylinder, the other one, the airport,
Oh, the old Marriott. Where
and
we'll be staying for One and Done and WrestleCon.
he came, didn't shower in the same gear that he worked. He was still wearing the gear, and I was in the elevator with him. Oh, and he was talking to me, and I'm like, please stop talking to me. Please stop talking to me. Nice guy in the world. I love Mick, but man, did he stink.
Blake the Snake DeFuhrer. What's up, buddy? He's in the house. Hey, Chubby and Kringle.
So, but yeah, I mean, they're going to put on a solid match Saturday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Next up, we had Bailey versus Nia Jax. And we had a NXT star. I guess she's up on the main roster now.
Roxanne Perez.
At ringside, sitting in the front row.
Very solid little worker. Cuts great promos. Very, very good heel. I think she was ready for the call up, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Hopefully, with her getting called up, they send Nia down, because I'm sorry, you've been in the business this long and you can't even do a leg drop. She's not only her work is sloppy, but she's dangerous. The fact that, I mean, she has injured people in the past, but the fact that she hasn't seriously injured somebody is just a miracle. I don't know what they see in her. I don't know why they brought her back after letting her go. There's just so many better ways to go on that one. So I'm just not a fan of hers.
I don't know who Mad Mike is, but Santa be nice. That's Mad Mike's lady.
Well, he can have her.
Jay says Roxanne trained by Booker T.
Yes, she was, as he will tell you every chance he gets. But yeah, she's solid. She definitely deserves the call up.
Well, I guess she's going to get put into a program with Bailey, and
they should have some good matches together.
Yeah,
and I think that's the heel that Bailey needs to get back in her groove.
And I also think she needs somebody more Roxanne size, because she's been stuck working Nia a lot the last so many months, and there's only so much you can do. I mean, again, another amazing effort by Bailey tonight. But there's only so much you can freaking do with that girl.
And the thing that bugs me about the whole Nia thing is, I don't know who runs, if anybody runs, but how can you sit there and watch her screw up match after match after match, and then still keep putting her over strong? Like, at some point, you just got to sit there and go, all right, this ain't working. She should be a lot better than what she is at this point in the game. I mean, she brings down everyone in the ring with her. Everything she does. Like, I would put her in a tag team and kind of bury her like they tried to do with Jade Cargill, if anything, and just let her be like the Andre to the Haku.
Yeah.
Let her work that big woman style. Just come in and kind of be, if you're going to insist on keeping her, but her in the singles, just ain't working.
All right, so at the end of that match, we saw Rhea Ripley come out, attack Nia, They did
Yeah.
have some nice little thing going back and forth. Big pull apart, setting up for Saturday night's main event, where we'll see those two go at it.
I wish you the best, Rhea.
Okay, how about this one? Okay, Gianni says she's only there because of who she's related to.
You know what? If that's the case, then yeah, I mean, it's business is business, and I don't care who you're related to. If you're no good, you're no good.
Well, how about this? Jay says turn Nia into a comedy wrestler. At least when she messes up, it's part of the gimmick. But see, and now I don't know about her first run with WWE. Was she a face at all, or was she always a heel?
She went back and forth, but she became a comedy wrestler for a little while because she literally, I guess she didn't realize it. She fell on her ass on the apron of the ring and yelled, "Ow, my hole." So literally they turned that into a gimmick for a while.
Oh,
because it was
my hole.
Did
they make shirts? They did. I hope they made shirts saying that.
I don't think they did, but they turned it into a gimmick for a while where she kept falling on her ass and yelling, "My hole."
That's so funny. Gianni didn't mean Mad Mike. He meant Magic Mike.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. But even the comedy, like I said, I think she's another one that's just, she's been there and long enough. She's taken up a spot. There are so many better women on the NXT roster. And if the rumors of Jordy Lynn Grace coming in are true, you got your power wrestler right there who can not only work, but she can cut a promo and she's decent in the ring.
I expect she'll be at the Rumble, and that'll be her true start with her new contract.
Yeah. I think it is because she was supposed to do a couple signings and they got canceled.
Okay.
So you know, that's usually a sign that they're with the
Yep.
Because I've never heard anything bad about her, and a few times I met her, she was pretty cool. So I definitely think she's on the horizon for them, and she's going to do good things. She's going to be real, like the potential of her in a lot of them matches is really. I'm really looking forward to that.
Next up, we had a Judgment Day promo where Chad Gable came in, wanted to talk to Dirty Dom to find out who he can go to for help.
I can't wait to see who it is.
Yeah. Any idea who you think it is?
I'm just hoping it's somebody so ridiculous.
I mean, it's gotta be, but who the hell could it be?
Mil Mascaras? Oh, wait a minute. He's dead, isn't he?
I don't think so. Is he?
I don't know. Jeremy, is he dead? But that would be the kind of thing that I think would be hysterical. I don't know. I'm I think they're just gonna pull somebody out of the hat. It's going to be, and even if the person, it would be even better if the person's not even a luchador or a Mexican wrestler.
It'll be Chavo Guerrero. Watch that. I mean, that's who I was thinking. It's the first name that came to my mind when watching that segment.
Chavo's got potential.
Yeah.
But I think he's busy with a lot of Hollywood stuff. He does a lot of stunt work and stunt coordination.
All right. And also too, they were during that segment. You you can see it's like only a matter of time before Liv turns on Dom.
Yeah, that's already being built up, and uh, the Judgment Day. I just think it always suffers from they don't know where they're going with it. Instead of just let it run,
Hmm.
I think they just overthink it. They're a heel faction. Let them be heels. You
There's
know,
way too many factions. There's like a half dozen factions.
I've never understood the point of face factions.
I agree.
Um, and then heel ones, they got to serve a point. I thought for a while Judgment Day served that, and once they got rid of Damian Priest, I was still okay with it. But now they're like having a fallout between Finn Balor and Liv, and now Liv and Dominic, and it's like,
It's just going to implode in the very near future. The whole thing.
yeah. I just love that Carlito's just collecting a check.
Yeah, right. I mean, all he does is just stand in the background, do a little run in.
My man.
Yeah.
Fist bump. Cat, fist bump.
All right. Next up was a promo of Lyra Valkyrie.
Valkyria.
0, 0, 0 personality.
Unfortunately, I like Lyra's in ring stuff, but again, I don't get why there's no one helping these kids along and talking to them about presence,
Yeah.
cutting a promo. Because she, I got the replay playing in the background,
Hmm.
and the Nia Jax and Bailey matches on,
Okay.
and that woman is sloppy. She's going to kill somebody. Yeah, I know you can't give everybody a manager, and everybody can't be a great promo, but work with them.
Yeah.
Like, if they can't cut a promo, give them 2 minutes. Like, do like they used to do with Backlund when Backlund was a face.
Yeah.
Have them go out there, get to the point, maybe get a little fired up, boom, get off.
Mm-hmm. Do it smart.
Yeah, I actually thought I would have rather seen Dakota Kai win that belt.
Me too. I was shocked that they didn't put her over.
I'm thinking they think she's going to be the next Becky Lynch.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I have no problems with her work or anything. And if promos is the worst thing we could say about her, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Put her in there with a couple like solid heels, and they'll take care of that.
All right. Next up was the Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn promo, going back and forth about the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Blah 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 blah. Next up, we had second week in a row, Penta in his second match against. Now, who was this guy? Pete Dunne.
Oh, Dunn's been around a while. I love Pete Dunne. For a guy his size, he's a solid worker. Lays every. Did you see the way these two were going at it?
Hmm.
I'm sitting there like, you got these two killing each other, but then you got Rollins who can't throw a punch. Can't like and these two. I really like this match. When I seen he was working Dunn, I got excited. Dunn has put on great matches with Gunther, Ilya Dragunov. Just he's a very solid worker. He was out of the UK. He started in NXT UK. Then he was in NXT for a while. Like I said, he again, he's another guy like Gable who suffers from just that he's smaller. But I thought this was a solid match.
I did too.
I really like Penta because unlike some of the other luchadors, he doesn't just bounce off of you, and he sells. He puts some effort into what he's doing.
He's so over already.
Yeah, and I think that's just because he's new. He's an indie favorite. I'm hoping that stays, because that's kind of the way Dragon Lee was when he came in. Everybody was excited, and then it kind of died out because I think they get to the point where some of these foreign wrestlers, they don't know what to do with them because they can't cut a promo.
Here's what the person I would put him in a feud with. And you might say I'm crazy, or you might totally agree with me and love this idea. I think you can put him in there with this person. They would have amazing matches. This kid is a great heel, which would put Penta over even further as a face. Logan Paul.
Oh, I'm a Logan Paul fan. He goes out there, he doesn't phone it in.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of them guys, they brought him in as a gimmick, but he learned the right way, and he has a lot of respect for the sport.
Yeah.
I could see them having some good stuff.
Absolutely.
Logan, I'm glad to see him coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've everything I've seen of him and his title run and his runs, definitely positive. It's that fresh blood that I think we need.
Jay agrees with you. Santa Dunn can go.
Yeah, Dunn's really good. He's just one of them guys. Like I said, I feel like they don't know what to do with him.
Pete Dan and Sami Callihan would have made a great tag team in NXT. Or I guess he means Dunn. Yeah, Pete Dunn probably.
Yeah, Dunn and Callihan. I liked Callihan. That boy just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Mm.
I think if he had stayed in his weight, and he would have did more. I don't know if you know who Sami Callihan was.
Yeah, is he still? Where is he? Is he still in TNA?
I don't know. There was just something about him that just, for some reason, he didn't. I don't know if he had heat or just because I always liked him and I thought the kid could work.
Yeah.
But there's just something that they didn't like about him, and I don't know what it was. And then again, like I said, he might have been like Chris Hero, where he just didn't want to get into shape.
Yeah.
But Kevin Owens.
All right, next up we had CM Punk, who's over so fucking over. He's just It's just a matter of time before he becomes world champion again. But I loved the line that he hopes Hulk Hogan's in there so he can throw Dusty Hogan over the top rope and finally kill Hulkamania once and for all.
Yeah, that was pretty good. He was playing off the Hogan getting booed at which I thought was blown out of proportion.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I will say this, man. When Punk came back, I wasn't like sure because for years he spent bashing the business and saying he didn't want to be a part of it anymore, and then he came back. The AEW stuff was just insane with all the backstage stuff, but his WWF stuff has been great. If he can stay healthy, man, you definitely you want to see him do something. That's why I'm interested to see what he does at the. This year's Rumble should be interesting because you got a lot of potential in there. So it should be interesting to see who they, because they're of course they're teasing Cena because it's his
I'm
last
dying
run.
to know what direction they're going with this.
Honestly, I don't know if they'll drop the hammer on him winning the belt one more time and breaking Flair's record. I personally would, because Flair's a legend, but that was NWA, WCW. This is WWF, WWE. Make your own legend. And, Cena's always been that guy. He'll do whatever you ask. He'll put anybody over. He doesn't need to come back to put people over. That's what I'd like to see. A transitional. Like, hey, man, he wins it, and then somebody cashes in their money in the bank.
Right.
So, but I don't know where they're going. And I'm kind of glad because I like to be surprised with the Rumble. I hate when
Yeah.
But you got a lot of guys in there that could win it. You got him. You got Punk. You probably may have The Rock. You got Roman Reigns in there. So definitely it adds a lot of interest to the Rumble this year, which is always a good thing.
Next up, all right. I don't even know the name of the one tag team, but we had Damage Control versus somebody Fusion or something.
Oh, the Fusion Collective.
What a horrible name.
Pure Fusion Collective, I think they're called.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All solid workers.
I'll tell you what. Horrible name, but I thought this was the best match of the show tonight.
Dude, that drop kick, Zoe Starks.
I thought he killed Dakota.
Yeah. No, she. That's not a he.
She. Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Shayna Baszler. I think that they just don't use her right. The way they used her in NXT was a lot better than the way the Fed's been using her. Starks is. I'm a fan of hers. Of course, I like Io Sky. Yeah, I thought this was a solid women's match. They laid everything in. Good flow back and forth. I think Sonya Deville as the mouthpiece for them is perfect. She was good as the GM. She was good as the heel GM. So I definitely thought this was a nice women's match.
I think he's an agent in TNA now. I know his wife Jess Havoc is still there. I'd love to see Jax versus Havoc now that TNA is partnering with WWE.
I don't want to see Jax versus anybody.
Jay Bradbury says, random name generator tag team. That makes sense.
I can see them with the WWE video game.
Better name than the Ding Dongs.
Don't you blaspheme the Ding Dongs, you son of a. The Ding Dongs from Belfast when the got body slammed in the bells. Oh, I miss that kind of stuff. Yeah, like I said, I could see them just sitting there with the WWE random name, and then it just comes up. Oh, we got your name. But good match though.
Yeah. Like I said, that was my favorite match of the show. Last match of the night: Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre, and I was like, at first, kind of bummed out about this because I thought the match sucked early on, and then they finally got into their groove and started turning things up a bit. But it started out way too slow, and then it turns into a really nice, solid match.
Yeah, I McIntyre delivers all the time. all the time. I know this is going to be unpopular, and this is just my opinion, so don't anyone put any. I just don't like Seth Rollins.
Really?
I have never been a fan. He's one of them guys that I don't think he knows what he wants to be. So he's all over the place. But he doesn't have anything that like I'm still a fan. And I want to be engaged, and he just doesn't get me engaged in anything he does. I just never been a fan. Nothing against his work. I think when he doesn't overthink his matches, they are very good, solid matches. But when he overthinks them, literally, I remember it was a couple weeks ago, CM Punk cut a promo on him, and everything he said in the promo, I'm like, he's right. He just basically tore him down and was saying everything I said. You could have been this, you could, and I feel that. I feel like he's one of them guys. Like I compare him to Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
Whereas like they're this close, but they can't get any closer. It's like they're on. It's like first and goal, and they just can't get into the end zone. I don't know why, and that might be just me. I know a lot of people like him, but I just feel like he just doesn't do anything to like get me engaged in anything he does.
What did you think of the whole thing with him and Punk?
I liked it, but not because of him, because Punk engaged me.
Okay.
Whenever I'm interested in a Seth Rollins feud, it's 9 times out of 10 because the person he's in the feud with is the one engaging me, not because
Seth Rollins just seems like the guy who reminded the teacher they had homework due. That's great.
I can't unsee that now.
Right? That's so great.
No, every time I see him, I'm going to be like, I remember you. Yeah, I just don't get it, man. But like I said, anytime I've been engaged, it's not because of him, it's because of who he worked. Punk, he's older. His matches may not be like the 5-star greatest thing ever matches, but he gets you invested in the feuds.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And that's one thing that's missing, man. You gotta get, a vested interest. And that's a thing that's missing a lot in some of these feuds, man. And I just don't understand how they can sit in the back and watch this stuff and not realize that.
Okay, so let's say this: in a vested interest and people sitting in the back and seeing this stuff. Week 3 of the WWE Netflix era. Week 1, we had all the fanfare, the celebrity hype, all the pomp and circumstance, the red carpet. We had all the fun. Week 2, I did not get to see because I was having a meeting. But tonight, we went from having, I'll say, C, B, maybe even A list celebrities. To tonight, we had the PBR Bullfighters.
Yeah. So, week 1 was all the hype. I don't think it lived up to the hype. I was expecting a lot more. Not saying it was bad. My expectations were a lot higher. Week 2, it was generating some excitement because of the debut of Penta, which everyone knew was coming.
Right.
This week, it was an average show.
Yeah.
The problem is it's the old ECW. If you keep bringing out a surprise, when you don't have it, people are almost like, oh.
Yeah.
I look at it as a regular show. So now they're in regular show phase.
But okay, so why you're in regular show phase? Wouldn't you try to make something happen during the show to make like major pops?
I would think so.
There was nothing that made me pop tonight. Couple moves.
I'll be honest, man. I'm just not a fan of their writers.
I agree.
I think they just don't know how to get that pop, get that, something going.
Hmm.
I think a lot of times they write stories and just don't know where to go with them. I think the Gable with the luchadors is interesting. That's got my interest peaked.
Yeah.
And then again, now I got to ask you, what could they have really done that would have popped you at this point? I think at this point you're at the.
Well, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, if you think about it, this show was your Monday night show, your last build up going into Saturday night's main event,
Mm-hmm.
which then piggybacks into the Royal Rumble next weekend, which we'll have another episode of Raw on Monday, but
Mm-hmm.
there should have been more punch to it, more oomph, more something to get me jazzed to want to watch Saturday night's main event.
Agreed. I just think that they don't know how to. I always said this for. You know what? Sometimes that's what happens. I always said this when they were using sitcom writers.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with sitcom writers is they're used to writing something that has a beginning, a middle, and an end in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's neatly wrapped up. There's no long-term storytelling.
Right.
I really feel that wrestling is missing that. Like this whole Gunther Jey Uso thing. They shouldn't have been able to touch, or if they did, Gunther should have laid him out, get out of the ring. There's just never any excitement, any build up. Like that's something they can have somebody, man. If they're a heel, man, have them keep getting over, because now you're going to keep watching because you want to see them get their comeuppance.
How about that? Jay Bradbury, star of the night, I got to say. I feel as though the writers are writing like it's a job and not as a fan. If the show was written through the fans' eyes, there would be a spark and the pop to get the fans going.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Exactly. I've said this. When they switched to writers, that's when everything started going downhill. Mm-hmm. So, getting back to my point, there's just no build-ups anymore. There's like, you want to see somebody get their comeuppance,
mm-hmm.
but they get it every week. Like, what's the point of? How many times did you see Flair get beat up?
All the time.
No, think about that. The Four Horsemen, he rarely.
Well, with the horse, but in the ring, you saw him get beat up.
Exactly. And that was the build-up.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the feud with Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
They beat the crap out of him. They rubbed his face in there. You couldn't wait to see Morton beating him up. And now you're watching it. You're all engaged. And then when he beat Morton, you were like, you son of a... So now you want to see it the next week because you're hoping somebody else gets him. But when you're watching these champions come out week after week, especially the heel champions, and getting their asses handed to them, where's the excitement? Where's the Where's the interest?
Right.
And I think the other problem with it is you always kind of know the outcome, but you would like to think that at least there's a surprise somewhere in the midst. And there's just none. I really do.
And Gianni's saying to Jay, that's why the Attitude Era and ECW was awesome.
Well, I'll agree with the Attitude Era part.
Come on, Eric. Leave Michael alone. Let him eat like a fool.
Well,
I was eating too.
You know what though? Think about that. Think about this for a second. Him and McAfee getting out there, eating and having fun, garner more interest in some of the matches. Maybe makes some stuff like, I don't care how old he is, but every time Ron Killings comes out or R-Truth,
it's a home run.
That dude, because he makes it fun.
All right, Jay says, true, Gianni, but it is that Vince Russo writing to swerve for the sake of the swerve that killed the writing style of the wrestling program. And Gianni says, Jay, please don't ruin it with Russo.
Poor Russo.
Dude.
Bro.
Oh, is it bro? It's bro.
Bro. I actually met him and he was like actually a nice guy. I know a lot of people don't like him, but you know, I don't judge people. Unless they're Nia Jax. She's horrible.
All right. On that note, let's wrap it up. I am tired. I'm exhausted. I got to get some sleep.
Yeah, I got to get up in the morning and get 2 needles in my neck. So.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Bro. Thank you, bro, for coming and hanging out as always. So I think we're going to be. Are you going to do this after Saturday Night's Main Event?
Saturday Night's Main. Yeah, I can do it after Saturday Night's Main Event.
All right. So,
any one and done news before we go?
Yeah, one and done news. Wait for what's today? Monday, Wednesday. Huge announcement for WrestleCon. There's announcements for one and done for WrestleCon. Announcements are coming. But the major big blowout announcement is Wednesday for WrestleCon. And tickets available, 2300arena.com. Get them. Be there.
I'm gonna screw up your announcement right now. There will be a Hall of Famer at one and done. That's right. You're going to hear it from me first. I don't care what Bay says. At one and done, the Santa Kringle 2024 International Santa Claus Hall of Fame will be at one and done.
There you go.
Sorry, man.
We're gonna have everybody yeet with Santa.
No. The last wrestling show I did, they were hoeing. That's what they were doing. They were doing the ho. Whenever Tommy Fierro gets me the video, you'll see it. It was actually hysterical.
That's hysterical.
Sorry, Bat. I didn't mean to ruin your big surprise for Wednesday.
Hey, I can't wait for people to see the trailer video that comes out for that.
I know it's me falling down a chimney. It's great.
All right. On that note, everybody, hey, if you haven't already, go down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, whichever you're following on Facebook or YouTube. Thumbs up, especially, and all that fun stuff. And
don't forget, sign the petition.
Ooh, sign the petition. We got a bunch of signatures today. We are closing in on 800. We are at 787. So come on, let's make this a reality. 213 more to go.
Please, because once we get to 199, I'm taking mine back, and then I'm going to sell it.
On that note, because he would do that.
I've done it.
Have a great night, everybody. You guys rule. CWO for life.